Most people say they want to be happy, but what they actually want is to be comfortable. And those two things are not the same. Comfort feels safe, happiness feels meaningful. And the reason so many people feel empty isn't because life is hard, it's because they choose comfort and growth for too long. This immediately reframes happiness and makes people question their own choices. Welcome back to the Marcus Allgood Show. I appreciate everybody listening, watching, and sharing the show, getting the word out there. If you feel any value in this, please share it with somebody that could get some value. And let's get into it. Comfort versus happiness. The difference most people miss. Comfort avoids discomfort. You're all warm and fuzzy and cozy. Seeks predictability. Chooses ease. Avoids risk. Keeps routines familiar. Feels good short term. And I'm not saying routines are bad, but routines can get you in the rut of just doing the same thing over and over and never growing, never getting out of that comfort zone, and never making a change. Happiness comes from progress, requires effort, comes from purpose, grows through challenge and challenges, feels good for the long term, not just the short term. And going like when you live your life with purpose, it's so much better. You're so much happier. You become more joyful and you become more grateful for each day that you're slowly progressing towards what your purpose is. And once you find it and once you figure that out, you might not ever know, but as long as you're growing towards a purpose, it might not be your purpose, like the one that everybody thinks they have and they're in line with all the time. Like you might never find out what your true purpose is, but finding just a little bit of purpose in your life can take you a long way. So we got a mic drop. Comfort numbs you, happiness fulfills you. Once you start fulfilling your own bucket tank, you can start overflowing into other people's bucket tanks. And that's one reason why I do the podcast is to overflow into other people's buckets and try and build them up and help them grow their buckets and let them spill over it into other people. It's not always just about me or just trying to just get something for myself. It's always about helping other people. And I was telling one of my clients that the other day that found my podcast, he's like, "Why do you do it?" I said, "I want to be the person that I was looking for 10 years ago, looking for that role model, looking for the person to help me get out of the comfort zone I was in and to make me a better person. Who can I look up to that could get me to where I needed to be?" And that's who I want to be for anybody that jumps on this podcast or jumps on my TikTok or Instagram. And a lot of those are just workout stuff, but I found all this through working out. Most people don't want happiness, they want relief. Relief from stress, relief from discomfort, relief from the responsibility. But relief isn't happiness. It's just a pause from pain. You have to go through the pain. Like I'm going through some pain right now. I just don't talk about it. And it's probably going to be another hard 2 years. But the best thing about it is it's growing me. It's turning me into the person that I am today. And it allows me to do these other things like the podcasts and the TikToks and real estate and things like that to really find out who I am and who I can be and how strong my mentality is and how strong I am physically and mentally, and to be a great dad and be able to go through hard times, the uncomfortable zones, and still be a good dad and still be a good husband and still be a good friend and still be able to pour into other people that I don't even know. So how comfort becomes an addiction. Comfort is sneaky. It's super sneaky. It just creeps up on you. It doesn't show up as destruction. It shows up as delay. I'll start tomorrow. I was talking with a guy yesterday. He thought he was gonna be able to retire and just work out every day. And it just you get to the point where I'll just do it tomorrow. I'll just do it later. I'll do it in a little bit, and then tomorrow becomes next week, or the next day, and then next day becomes next week. Like it's a terrible cycle. You have to have purpose in life. You can't just sit around. Or I'm tired today. I deserve a break. Oh man, I'm so tired. I deserve a break. I actually thought that today. I wanted just to sit in front of the TV. And guess what I did? I edited a couple videos for my YouTube channel. I'm doing this podcast. I went to the grocery store But I wanted to sit in front of Netflix and just do nothing all day today. And you know what? Doing this right now makes me feel 100 times better than sitting on that bed or sitting on that couch watching you watching Netflix for 5 or 6 hours because I didn't feel like it or because I was tired today or I deserve a break. I'm just pushing too hard. I've been through a lot. Like these excuses like drive me crazy with people because my life is busy. I make it busy. My life is hard. I make it hard. Everybody makes their own kind of hard. I make it hard because I made the decisions I did to do the certain things that I did. Could I have made different decisions? Of course I could have. Am I paying the consequences for the decisions I made? Yes. And I'm making it through it? Yes. Will I be able to come out on better on the other side? Of course I will. It's good. It sucks while I'm doing it, but it's getting better and better every day, and I can see that light at the end of the tunnel at some point. And even though some of that's all true about taking a break or I'm tired today, but when it comes to when it becomes a pattern, comfort turns into a cage. The truth, the more you choose comfort, the more uncomfortable growth feels. That's addiction behavior. That's addiction behavior. You got to, when you avoid the discomfort, when you seek instant relief, and you justify the behavior, and you repeat the cycle. If you just keep doing that, that is when the comfort becomes a habit or actually just an addiction. And to get out of the addiction, it's super hard because you got to get uncomfortable and you have to, it's like any addiction that you have to replace it with something else. So to get out of the comfort zone, you got to get in the discomfort zone. To find out what the discomfort zone is, you have to get out there, find some mentors, think about what you're just trying to do. Like, what are your goals? Write down some goals. And we've talked about all this before, but once you start down that path, you're replacing discomfort with the actual comfort, and you'll be able to get out of it. It's going to be a lot easier than you think to get out of it, but it's definitely going to be hard to get out of it. It can happen, but it's a slow process. It's like working out and losing your nutrition and just once you become fat, you don't become fat overnight. You become fat by slowly eating, overeating on calories day after day after day, week after week after week, month after month after month after month. Then within a year, next thing you know, you got 40 pounds on. Some people will push past that 40 pounds. Some people will stay at the 40 pounds because they can't overeat as much as they're already eating. The people that can push past that 40, 50 pounds and then become morbidly obese, they just keep pushing and pushing and feeding and feeding and feeding that addiction. But to once you get to that point of 40 and you like at a year or 2 years or 3 years, however long it takes you to get there, the best part about it is you can lose it in 3 to 6 months and definitely you can lose it in a year by changing your habits and getting uncomfortable. But when you put that weight on, you became so comfortable inside your skin that you didn't care anymore about yourself and you didn't care about the other people around you that loved you for being the person you are. You kept feeding the addiction of food and discomfort, or not even discomfort. You kept feeding the addiction of food and you kept feeding the addiction of the comfort zone that you're in. You need to pick your choice of I am going to lose the weight. I'm going to make the change. I'm getting in the discomfort zone. Let's make it happen. So why do people defend comfort zone so hard? This is definitely, I hear people all the time and it just drives me absolutely crazy that they think the comfort zone is like, oh, I just got married and we just got so comfortable with each other when we're just gonna hang out and just eat like slobs all the time. And next thing you know, they're 40 pounds overweight. They don't like each other. They're unhappy with each other. They're unhappy with themselves. And then they end up getting divorced. And then they go back to working out and actually eating right, thinking that they're doing something different for the next person they meet. They should have done it in their relationship, in the middle of their relationship when they figured out they weren't doing the right things the whole time. But, anyways, so let's talk about it a little bit more. This is where comments will light up. Um, People defend comfort because growth threatens identity, discomfort exposes weakness, change requires accountability, a whole lot of accountability, progress removes excuses. Once you start making some progress, you can't go back and say this isn't working. I don't like it anymore. But you have to keep going. Comfort lets people say, "This is just who I am. I'm just that's just who I am. I'm just big boned, or I just smoke, or I just like drinking alcohol, or I just drink a lot of alcohol and I just do a lot of drugs. Like, that's just who I am. No, it's not. That's who you want to identify as, but it's definitely not who you are. Life is hard right now. It's gonna be hard all the time, so you might as well make it harder and get into the discomfort zone. I'm doing my best. I've said it to myself, and then I actually ask myself, "Am I really doing my best? Have I tried everything? No. Let's get to figuring out what I can do to try it, and let's figure out how I can be the best person that I need to be." Comfort protects your ego. Growth builds your life, and the growth is an amazing chapter in your life, and you should always be growing. It's not just a single time in your life that you should be growing. It's always growing. I guarantee you talk to, some look. I mean, bring up the president. He's still growing. And he's 79 years old. It doesn't stop until you just can't go anymore, and that's when it stops. The long-term cost of comfort. Comfort always collects payment, just not immediately. Over time, comfort creates regret, resentment, low self trust, quiet frustration, loss of identity, a life that feels fine but empty. And I've been there. I've lost everything. I'm quiet. I've all gone down the low self trust, the resentment, the regret. And once you've hit that rock bottom, you got to go up. Like, there's no other place that can go back up. And you got to get into the discomfort zone to figure out how to get through all these. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. Most people don't wake up miserable. They wake up underwhelmed by their own potential. You just are like blah. You're like, oh, like I wake up excited to get up every day. I wake up without an alarm, and I've talked about before, excited to greet the day. There are times like I don't want to get up, but I'm still excited to get up and go work out and just greet the day and see what the day is going to bring, and get through to be able to see my kids, hang out with the wife, like also I'm super excited about life all the time. What choosing happiness actually looks like. Happiness is built through doing hard things consistently, keeping promises to yourself, choosing progress over ease, delaying gratification, showing up when no one's watching. It looks boring. It's always super boring. It's super repetitive. It looks uncomfortable, but it builds pride, and pride creates peace. Happiness isn't loud, it's quiet confidence. And I know my life is not spectacular or super exciting. It's probably boring. I do the same thing. I've been doing the day in the life of myself, and over the past couple of weeks, and I feel like I just record the same thing. So I'm trying to get some new shots of just me hanging out, doing things instead of just working out. Because all I do is work out, eat, cook, go to the shop, do some real estate, hang out with the kids, hang out with the wife, repeat. It's the 5 things I do every day. And now we're going to some, volleyball games and stuff, but it's the same thing. Like, life is, if you look at it from an outside perspective, it probably looks boring. He does the same thing every day, eats the same food all the time, but it's what gets the job done, and it makes me happy. How to break the comfort addiction. Get honest. Ask, where am I choosing comfort instead of growth? Choose one hard thing daily. One workout, one conversation, one task you've been avoiding. Mine was running and also a high rocks race, and I'm doing another one in March. So that's getting me out of the comfort zone, and that's getting me, super outside the comfort zone. Stop romanticizing ease. Ease doesn't build legacy. Redefine self care. Self care isn't always rest, sometimes it's discipline. And remember this, the life you want lives on the other side of what you keep avoiding. Say that more than one time. Write it on the wall, write it on the mirror, write it anywhere you can to keep looking at it. Because if you're avoiding something, write down the things you're avoiding and jump to the other side of those. This week, every time you're faced with a choice between comfort and growth, choose the growth. Just one a day. Because happiness doesn't come from avoiding discomfort, it comes from becoming someone you respect. Comfort will keep you safe, but growth will make you proud. I appreciate everybody listening. That's the pod. Have a great day.